Hey guys, Caroline here. In this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my daily routine for match betting, what I do on a daily basis. Now, this is something which has changed quite significantly. I've been doing match betting now for over a year. And what I do now, when I started to write it down, I've actually got some notes over there. It actually sounds like quite a lot, but it doesn't take very long. During the week, sort of Monday to Friday, it's maybe an hour, possibly two if there's more stuff on. At the weekend, Saturday, a little bit more, maybe 2 hours, and that's about it. So I'll go through it step by step. So the very first thing I do here is if I have a look, I'm on Odds Monkey here, and I use the profit tracker to keep track of all the bets I place. If I have anything manual, I put it on here as well. So this currently, we are the 8th of October today, and this is what I did yesterday. There's a couple from the day before actually, which I haven't done, oddly. And so the first thing I do is I will go through all of the bets from the day before, and I will basically get them settled. So I'll go onto the bookie website, I'll check the bet, see what the outcome was, whether it won or lost. And then in my spreadsheet where I keep track of all my accounts, I'll update the balance for that particular bookie. So for example, I've just logged into Coral. I'm on another computer because this is on a separate account. And I see here that this Live the Dream, not only did it win the race, but it won it by 6 lengths, and that has given me a £6 free bet. So I also keep track of all my free bets. Now I'm just going to jump over and show you something else here. I manage all of my match betting activities, partly with a spreadsheet and partly with this Google Calendar. So this is a Google account which I have set up just for match betting. I don't use it for my regular Google. And what I have is I have various colours of things here for various categories. Everything in purple is weeklies, and these are mostly the weekly bet clubs. I have dailies, which I'm going to go through in a moment, Cashmere and Dunder, and then I have something here, free bets. So on this free bets, I simply make note of what outstanding free bets I have still to use. In brackets here is an expiry date. So Coral, I've actually got quite a few. I've been doing rather well on this bets for lengths offer on the horse racing, and I've got 3 free bets there to use. So that is the first thing, is going through all of these, all of the bets from yesterday, and I know where I am. Now sometimes, but not every day, sometimes I'll also go through my bank. I'll update my balances on the bank, and I'll check over any withdrawals that I've made and make sure everything's sort of reconciling properly. Okay, so once I've done all of that, I know where I am from the day before, and I'm ready to start my new day. So the next thing I do is I go onto this thread which I have bookmarked here, and this is the price boosts thread in the Odds Monkey forum. And basically there's no chatter on this thread. It is just when somebody has found a new price boost. Now I use, as you know, I use a computer for all of my match betting activities. I don't use a mobile phone. So I have this watched here. So it's watching this particular thread. I will actually get an audio and visual alert anytime a new post is made in here. It'll give me a big beep, and I'll come up with a little kind of preview of what it is. So as long as I'm doing match betting, I will leave this on so I can jump on any price boosts that are there. Okay, the next thing I do, I won't actually show you, is I go through my email. So I have 2 sets of accounts. I have different sets of emails. So every day I'll go through the emails. Usually this is something I do a couple of times. I'll do it in the morning. But then I'll often check back again sort of late afternoon, early evening, because quite often there'll be stuff that comes up for the evening football, for example. And if I've got time in the evening, if I'm not out, and I'll jump on as many email offers as I can. So quite often there'll be something in email that isn't somewhere else. So I'll start off by doing any offers that come in through email. Now the next thing I do is I make quite heavy use of this racing matcher now on Odds Monkey, and I believe I have already done a video on this. If I haven't, I should do one. So basically I have a look through the various offers. Now I don't bother filtering these because I can see at a glance which ones I want to do. Now many of them I'm not interested in. So free bet is second to the smart price starting price favourites. This is something I very rarely do, because what that means is that whichever horse has the lowest starting price, as the favourite starting price, has to win, and then yours has to come in second. So it's quite a tricky one to land, basically. And then the others are all of these. Free bet if second by a length or less, a neck or less, a head or less. I just don't bother with those. Very occasionally I'll have a quick look, but very rarely are these worth doing for me personally, because they don't land very often. And of course, on these sorts of offers, you take a qualifying loss. What I am interested in at the moment is Coral's offer, a free bet per winning length, and William Hill free bet if second. Now, sometimes on big races, there'll be other bookies that do a refund if second. Now, when I still had my Betfair Sportsbook account, this was one that made me a lot of money. Money back if your horse goes odds on in play and loses. If you're interested in that, I did a video on it last year, quite a comprehensive video explaining that one. I never do the Bet365 one because I've heard that really gets you guffed very quickly, and I like Bet365 for their in-play offers. And that's about it. Most of the others here I'm actually gubbed on, so I can't do them anyway. So I'll show you a quick look of how I set this up. So for Coral, for example, I'm looking for a free bet per winning length. I want a horse with very low odds, so I select odds of 4. The exchange, I usually just go for Smarkets because there's no commission on there, and a minimum rating of 95. I apply. Okay, we've actually got one today. So here, I'll bring up the calculator here, and yeah, I would then go and place that bet and put it on. But this is one of these things where once you've set up the filters you want, so if I go on to William Hill now, so here I do the odds differently. I'll go anything up to odds of 10. Same thing, I just look for Smarkets. And now on William Hill, they very often have a boost, so I don't mind taking a slightly lower rating, so I go up to say 94, because they'll allow you to boost your bet. Now there isn't anything right now, but that doesn't mean there won't be anything in 5 minutes or 10 minutes. So what I tend to do is I tend to go through these, do other stuff, and then I just come back and kind of refresh them, and I just keep an eye on it. So the next thing I do is I look to see if I can put on my free bets. So if we come back to my calendar and have a look what I have, these are all the free bets I have to use. Now I want to put on a free bet when I can get a rating of at least 80%. So I have a filter that I've set up here in the odds matcher, and this is something which I adjust daily. So I have it set up for football, horse racing, and US football. Very, very rarely do I actually put that on. Basically, I only ever bet on the NFL on a Sunday. So most of the time, it's horse racing and football. To be honest, most of the time, my free bets go on horse racing. I probably do more with horse racing now than I do with anything else. I just have it as Smarkets, and I just set a 5 on the minimum liquidity there. Usually, most free bets are £5 or less. And then I have in there the bookies, which currently I have free bets on. And I just refresh it. So I just have a look. So right now, we've got one. Now, Paddy Power is one that has very bad odds. So I'd probably go ahead and do this one. 79.27, that's not bad. So that's on a horse. So I'd go and place that bet. And so again, this is a bit like the racing matcher. Well, I'll just hit refresh every sort of 10 minutes or so. You know, I'll see something. If there's something that I want to put on, I do it. If I place the bet, obviously I then come here and adjust this, you know, take them off and so forth. Any free bets that I place are then going to be logged on the profit tracker and will be checked the next day. So that's how I do that. Now, occasionally I have some alerts set up for particular offers. So, for example, I always have an alert up for 2-ups on football. I very, very, very rarely do 2-ups. They annoy me for various reasons that I've talked about in the past. But, for example, sometimes there might be a particular offer. Let's say Genting did one last weekend. If you place a pre-match bet on a particular football match, they would give you a free bet for every goal scored in the match. Now, at the time when I looked at it, the odds were really bad. So I set up an alert and set up an email alert, and so that would come through if a good match came up. So very often this stuff is kind of setting things up to check on later. Okay, so that's the free bets. So far I've gone through I've reconciled yesterday's bets. I've had a look on the racing matcher. I've had a look what free bets I can put on. So the next thing to do, oh yes, and I've checked my email offer. So the next thing to do is the daily offer calendar. So this is updated constantly through Odds Monkey. So this again is something I generally just check once in the morning. Now, personally, I just do sports on here. I do a little bit of casino, which I might be talking about in another video. But I don't generally do it through Odds Monkey. So I just refresh that, and I'm just looking for any incomplete offers. Now there'll be many here which I simply don't do. You know, the 2-ups football, that's on there every day. I just ignore them. And then there's a lot of things like board draw refunds and stuff like that. I'm going to talk in another video about football refunds. What I'm really looking for is something specific for today. You see, these, I'm so familiar with them, I can kind of like scan past and I know what they are. Whereas you see, this is something new here from Betway, a free Bet Club Super Month. And I'm actually going to hide that because I have 2 Betway accounts and they are both clubbed. So I can't do anything with Betway at the moment. But if I had a Betway account, that would be something that I would be jumping on. Let's have a look. So this is something that I sometimes do, genting, 1 free spin per goal scored in the match. Now this one here, Jennings Bet, I've bookmarked it because this is something I have to do on the app. And I'm not a fan of using apps. I much prefer to do everything on the computer. So I've just bookmarked it to do at a later date. So what have we got here? This has been there a while. This is always there. Board draw refund. And okay, this one is new. Virgin Bet, World Grand Prix Darts ACCA Insurance. So this is something that is new. It's specific to a particular event. So I would then have a look and see what it is. Okay, so obviously I'm not going to do that now, but that's how I go through it. Now the weekly bet clubs I'll talk about separately. The racing offers, I use the racing matches for that, and that's it. So very often, even though there's a lot of stuff in here, most of it I tend to ignore, or I handle in a different way, and so it really doesn't take long to scan through these. Now where that changes is on a Saturday. So Saturday, or starting on sort of Friday afternoon, Friday night, we get lots of offers coming up for, say, the weekend events, weekend football, weekend racing. So I try to do some of them on a Friday afternoon if I'm around. If I'm not, then I try to get out fairly early on Saturday and get started with that then. So on Saturday, everything seems to take longer. There's more racing offers. There's more offers of all sorts on a Saturday. So that's the daily offer calendar. Right, the next thing then, I go back to my calendar and I have a look at my bet clubs. So these are the bet clubs that I do at the moment. I have 1 Coral account, I have a Jennings account, I have a MoPlay, I have 2 Paddies. For some reason, my Paddy Power account still hasn't been dubbed after a whole year on it, even though my Betfair Sportsbook account has, and Paddy and Betfair are owned by the same company. So what I do is if I put a bet on, I simply make a note. So for example, with Coral, what I'll try to do there is I will try to, I will try to combine the offer with the bet club. So let's see if that race is still there. Yes, so I've got 2 here, you see. So if I place both of these today, I'd come into here, and this is £25, each one is 20, so then I would change that to £20. Oh, why is my keyboard not working? I don't know, because I'm not editing. So I also have a little note in here, so I have to bet £25 at odds of 1.5 between Monday and Saturday, and I get a £5 free bet on Sunday. So this is how I keep track of my weeklies. And what I'll do is if I've done enough bets for the day, I think, oh, I've done that for today, so I'll just move that over to the next day. So Paddy, for example, we're already Tuesday and I haven't done any. Now, what I have in, where are we? In my odds matcher, I also have filters here set up for the various bet clubs that I do. So if Paddy don't have any good offers that come up, then I'll look to use my filter instead. And sometimes I'll register for an alert if I'm getting sort of towards the end of the week and I still haven't done it. But generally speaking, what I try to do is combine the bet clubs with the offers. So Quinn, that is another one where I can use, where is it? Where are we? The racing matcher. So Quinn, just do one that I don't particularly like. It's second to the smart price favourite. But if I'm going to place a bet for the bet club anyway, then I figure I might as well try the offer. So this is generally what I do. And yeah, 95% is fine. There isn't anything right now. So again, I might check this, you know, in 15 minutes or something. So coming back to my calendar. Sky, I could simply put one single bet of £25, but I don't bother. What I generally do with Sky is I wait until the end of the week. There's nearly always a boost on Saturdays, the treble on Saturday football. There's quite often another boost later in the week, might be one tonight, Tuesday treble. So I can usually get on offers with Sky, but this is how I keep track of everything. And this, if you notice here, I've got Paddy C and Paddy J. Paddy C is me, C is Caroline, that's my set of accounts. J represents the second person's set of accounts. So this is how I keep track of what I'm doing with what account. Okay, so that's the bet clubs. Another thing I don't have much of at the moment, is dailies. So these are things that I do on a daily basis. So I have these in different colour, in blue. At the moment, that is just Cashmere and Dunder. Now again, I have done a separate video, quite in-depth one, where I explained what I liked about Cashmere and Dunder, and they're two casino offers that I do. Now, sometimes I do other casino. Casino is something that I stopped doing for quite a while, but I'm going to talk about this in another video. Basically, Team Profit have launched a sister site called Team Casino, which makes it much easier to track what casino offers you're doing, and I have joined it. And so I'm going to be starting to do more casino going forward. But again, I'll talk about that in another video. But once I start doing that, there'll be things I'll be doing on a daily basis, and this is how I'll be keeping track of it. Okay, and then another thing that I do, I won't show it on the screen, but I basically go into Facebook and check the match betting Facebook group. Now again, this is run by Team Profit, it's got over 20,000 members. So I have a quick look. I'm on there every day, so I have a quick look to see if there's anything new. Very occasionally there'll be an offer in there that hasn't come through, say the daily offer calendar or something. Now, if it's a day where I've got more time to do match betting, then the last thing I'll do is a welcome offer. I'll just do a welcome offer that I haven't done on one of my accounts. At the moment, I've still got lots of welcome offers to do. I tend to spread them out and kind of do sort of one a day, but there'll be days when I'm busy doing other work and I don't do much match betting. So I just do all of this stuff. Maybe it takes me an hour or so, and that's it, I'm done. Now, it's taken me sort of 17 minutes to explain all this, but it actually doesn't take very long to do. So that is my routine now after a year of betting. So you'll probably notice that there's certain things in here that I don't do. So, for example, if we come back over here, I don't really touch accumulators. I've looked at them several times in the past. I found them they're not very profitable. Something else I have looked at in the past is doing each way bets and extra places, and I've had mixed success, and generally speaking I find that whilst there is some profit to be made, the time taken to find a good match with those kinds of things and make profits, it's not worth it for me personally. So I do less now. You know, when I first started match betting, I was on everything. I did every little thing, and I spent like 4 or 5 hours a day trying to squeeze out every little penny of profit. These days I don't. These days I spend less time and do just the stuff that I find is most profitable for my time spent. So for example, with those weekly bet clubs, there are some which I don't do because they're a pain in the butt. You know, I don't do ones where you've got to do in-play bets because I find they're just not profitable, not worth my time. So that is my routine now. So I'd be interested to hear what your routine is like, how it differs to mine. Okay, this is a long one, so apologies for that, but thanks very much for watching.